So authors are often also going to be drawing conclusions there. And if you think about, or if you're asked to draw a conclusion, when we say we're drawing a conclusion here, I wouldn't just say it's like inferences. These are inferences. If you've made a logical conclusion based off of statements that are given to you in the passage, you've made an inference based on the passage here. So let's take a look through this passage we have up on the screen. Thank you for sending your resume in response to our newspaper advertisement. We consider the company and especially our employees to be the best, and we want to keep it that way. For this reason, we carefully review each resume that's sent to us. We are currently reviewing applications and expect to schedule interviews in the next couple of weeks. If you are selected for an interview, you can expect a phone call from our human resources staff. Well, what kind of conclusions can we actually draw from this? Do we know anything about the status of this person's job application? Yeah, we know what they say there. Well, Dion, I want to hold on to that thought there. It's a very formal response there. It's not very personal. It's just saying, like, okay, if you are selected, here's what's going to happen. We can't draw any bigger conclusions here from this. There's lack of personal details here. And yes, it sounds an awful lot like a form letter that is sent to applicants here because we didn't actually get anything very specific there. Well, so Olivine, I love that you are bringing this up. So let's be honest. Has anybody received something like this and kind of like read between the lines and said like, I think this just means they rejected me here? Yeah. Does this actually tell us that though? And this is where we have to be really careful here. We don't want to take our own personal experience because, yeah, quite frankly, I read this and I was like, this is a story I've heard many times before. Blah blah blah. Thank you for sending this. We you went into the out pile there, there. But it since we don't actually specifically have it saying that, it's very formal there. But we can't see that's the thing is we got to be careful here. On the GED, we can't safely assume there. In real life, maybe, but on the GED, because it doesn't actually say that there, we don't want to go outside of what it says. It's a tricky thing to do, quite frankly. This is something Boris and I have definitely encountered a lot ourselves as we've taught, not just from our students, but even within ourselves, that be like, oh, I've got outside knowledge about this. I don't want to draw it in because if you say we had a passage here about board games here, well, guess one of your teachers here, his name is Boris, is going to have a lot of outside knowledge about those and probably have some opinions too about what are the good games or not there. And that might be danger for Boris because he'd be after see like, nope, must keep my opinions to myself, must keep my outside knowledge to myself here. That it's kind of funny. There is actually a Boris and I teach for one of the college entrance exams, and there is actually a passage in one of those about board games there. So another thing that we want to talk about here, and we're getting close. We will definitely be seeing some questions here relatively soon. In fact, actually, the next slide is going to be our first passage. But we also want to think about the writer's point of view here. What is the writer's position and perspective there? Is the writer an expert in areas here? Or does the um, or is the writer just talking from completely from the outside here with this? That, but so we want to think about that. That here, and also the tone that the writer has. Is the writer enthusiastic, positive, negative there? It's think about like if you're reading a critic a critic's thing, because you know you probably everyone's probably read like there's some movie critic who just loves to just have clever turns of phrase, insulting everything single thing that he or she sees there, versus somebody who's always very positive there. Yeah, exactly, exactly. So let's take a look at here. Speaking of theater reviews here, take a look through this and let us know how would you describe the frame of mind, the way the author views this performance. Yeah, this is all very positive. Strong emotions on the surface right there. Brian Dennehy apparently transformed this author with a positive performance of this play here.